is going on, Seminole Nation, Florida State family, in the 863 tribe? We are live, March 11th, episode 23. This is the Hangover. We got spring ball to talk about. A certain freshman wide receiver is putting the room on notice. We got recruiting to talk about. A certain quarterback has named us number one on his list, while another quarterback seems to be playing games. We got roster moves. We got guys standing out. We got quarterback play. We got offensive linemen stepping up. Man, we got all of this and so much more today, tonight, on the Hangover podcast. That's right. This is Thursday, March 11th, 2021. And we about to get into it. Oh, and by the way, Mr. Rogers, Mark Rogers, where the hell is my video?
These are on in the drum roll. Turn up, yeah!
I never talk to them boys that sit on them benches. I never talk to them boys that sit on them benches. I was in the game on 4th inches.
Yo, what is up, people? Let me fix my camera here a little bit. There we go. See the Hennessy light on in the back. So while I won't be on Hennessy tonight, we will be drinking tonight. I got the Tennessee honey. Grab your drinks. If you smoke one, grab one. And sit back, kicking and listen to a little bit of Florida State football talk, baby. You are on 863 Seminole TV, and it is your host, POLK, a.k.a. a.k.a. the goddamn truth. Episode 23 of the podcast coming up. Spring ball is underway. Recruitment is taking an interesting turn. And Mark, where's my video? Where's my video, Mark? I need that video posted. By the way, you can follow me on PODBEAN and Spotify if you are too busy to watch this live stream or you can't catch it right now. If you're texting, whatever the case may be, and you got to close that YouTube ad, man, just go on PODBEAN, go on Spotify, open it up, follow me 863_ Seminole TV, and listen to the podcast like that as well. So, but not only are we on YouTube, but we are on other platforms as well. So if you are on YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. We are close to 950. Can we get to 950 this live stream? That should be the goal. Can we at least get to 50 within 50 of 1,000? Can we do that tonight? We'll see. We'll see if we can do that tonight, man. We're at 944. Can I get 6 subscribers tonight? That should be the goal. 6 subscribers. Get us to 950 as we continue the slow grind to 1,000. Anyway, before we get into the spring talk, we're gonna do a little bit of some recruiting stuff, man. There's some good recruiting information that I think is worth talking about, and so we're gonna get into that. Once we do that, we're gonna get into what's going on in this recruiting. What's going on at spring? Who's looking the part? Who's not looking the part? Also, I want to talk about who has the most to benefit from this spring and who has the most to lose. We're gonna talk about a little bit with Mike Norvell and Adam Fuller went over in their interviews today. And FSU does put on pads tomorrow. FSU does put on the pads tomorrow. So practice is about to start picking up. But as you guys know, before we get into all of that, I got 18 people in here. Man, hit that like button. It's about to be roll call time. It's about to be roll call time in 5, 4. So if you wanted a shout out in a roll call, man, go ahead and get in the comment section. 3, 2, and 1. We got Noel Squad in the building. Tyler Head, Aiden Christopher saying Go Gators, boy. Stop. Island Boy, Jen Fari, Todd Pope, Mayan King, EMG, Made in Dade, KH, POLK, I changed my name. It was C. Hughes. All right. D. Thompson and Dan Squatch all in the building right now. And as people come in, of course, we give you shout out as you come in. All right, man, let's get to it. Give me 1 second. Sir 5 in the building. Larry Woodson. And here we go. All right. All right, we're going to start with the recruiting. Let's start with the recruiting. First recruitment note that I want to get out here, in case you're not tracking it, Panama Jack is in the building. 3-star linebacker Omar Graham Jr., 6'1", 205 pounds, out of Fort Lauderdale, was originally scheduled to commit on April 16th. Well, he is pushing back that recruitment, or that commitment, should I say. He's pushing back his commitment to a time to be determined. He said once he feels like it's right, he's going to commit. So he doesn't feel like it's the right time to commit. So I got it. I understand it. And, Omar Graham Jr. pushing back that commitment. FSU is considered heavily in the mix. But with him pushing his back, what does that exactly mean? Don't know. He's going to take his time. He's going to figure out what he wants to do and where he wants to go. 3-star athlete Thomas Castellanos, 5'11" and 190 pounds, out of Waycross, Georgia, has planned a visit for March the 27th to come to Tallahassee and visit the boys, visit the good guys in Garnet and Gold. He's an athlete, first of all. He's an athlete, but at 5'11", 190, I know he plays quarterback and some running back. I think he also plays some DB for that high school out there. Excuse me. While I take a sip. I think he's a running back at the next level. Doesn't mean he can't play quarterback, but with the quarterbacks that FSU's in the mix for, if he's really serious about being a Seminole, probably not looking to be a quarterback, probably looking to change that position to potentially running back or maybe even some DB. So that's 3-star athlete Thomas Castellanos, 5'11", 190. AJ Duffy, 4-star quarterback AJ Duffy. Florida State made his Final Four. But was it real? Well, there's been a lot of speculation And a lot of people tend to believe AJ Duffy is playing games with people. He's playing games. He's not quite serious with that Final Four. Arizona State not only is he still crystal ball to Arizona State, the one FSU crystal ball he received has been recently switched back to Arizona State. There are a lot of people believing that AJ Duffy isn't quite serious with that Final Four, and that Arizona State is the favorite, has been the favorite, and will continue to be the favorite all along. You can hear that TV in the back, my bad. People out here watching movies. So, AJ Duffy, I mean, you're talking about QB at an IMG Academy, 6'2", 205 pounds. FSU is listed in this top 4. Arizona State is not. Yet anybody within the know, anybody with any know-how, they believe AJ Duffy is still heavily considering Arizona State. So there's that. There is that. Give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back. My apologies. Get that TV turned down in the background. Where were we? We were talking about AJ Duffy, but yeah, that's pretty much insight on AJ Duffy. He is seems to be playing games, seems to be Arizona State, seems to be continue to be the favorite, even though for whatever reason he did not put him in their Final Four. It seems to be a little bit of games there with Duffy. Not saying he's a bad kid or anything crazy like that, but he seems to be playing the recruitment game, and the Arizona State still seems to be considered the big-time favorite for him. Speaking of quarterbacks, Noles Game Day did have an interview with Mr. MJ Morris last night. He has listed FSU as his leader. This is MJ Morris, 4-star quarterback, the number 4th overall dual threat quarterback, and 6'1", 175 pounds out of Atlanta. Has named FSU his leader over the likes of Stanford, Georgia Tech, and Nebraska. Out of those 3 particular schools, Georgia Tech is the school that I would be worried about if I was Florida State. That's the hometown team that is catching some and they're catching some what's the word here? Kids are interested in what Georgia Tech has going on. They have a decent coaching. They have a decent coaching staff over there. Seeing what a guy like Jeff Sims did year 1, there's thoughts that, being in the heart of Atlanta, Georgia Tech, I was guessing would be the school that I really worry about here. And he does plan to attend the spring game on the 10th of April. So while I think Morris is FSU's to lose, Georgia Tech is going to be there, is going to be fighting big time. But he says Florida State is the leader, and he basically contributes that to the relationship he has with Coach Dillingham and Coach Atkins. Those seem to be the 2 primary recruiters for MJ Morris. So Shout out to Knowles Game Day for getting that interview, and that was some good information. And FSU's in the running for MJ Morris. I would personally, I believe, especially after Duffy with this mixed signals from Duffy, if I had to guess, Florida State is definitely going more after MJ Morris at this point than AJ Duffy, but that's just my guess and my opinion. Lastly, on the recruiting trail, Earl Little Jr. That's a name that I haven't talked much about, right? Well, just came out recently. 4-star Earl Little Jr., 6', 175 out of American Heritage. Marcus Woodson and the boys have geared their attention that is Marcus Woodson's now Coach Wood's number one priority seems to be Earl Little going forward. He already has Sam McCall. He already has Travis Hunter. And now he's going after Earl Little Jr. after a bunch of speculation that Miami and Manny Diaz hasn't really been recruiting him that heavy. Alabama seems to be the primary recruiter in him, but he has interest from Alabama, LSU. Obviously, his dad played for Miami, so there's that. But FSU is now gearing up to target Earl Little Jr. Do they have a shot or not? Remains to be seen. We'll see going forward. But FSU is definitely starting to try to get in the mix for him, and Miami seems to not be in a rush as far as the 2021 class goes. At least it doesn't seem that way from the outside. As far as what I am drinking on, I got some Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey. That's what I got here tonight. You can go ahead and put your drinks in the chat. Let me know what you got. Let me know what you're working with. And now we got, before we really dive into breaking down what's going on, just a little bit of more notes, this time coming out of spring, and then we're going to dive into some of these topics, and I'll give my takes. Ja'Kai Douglas seems to be moving to a wide receiver. Not too much of a surprise there. This one might be a little bit of a surprise. Gainer moving to Mike linebacker. I got some opinions on that might surprise you, actually. Burrell is looking like a beast. If you haven't been seeing some of these pictures and some of these clips of Joshua Burrell, he's putting Pookie Wilson, Keyshawn Helton, and Jordan Young and some of those upperclassmen. Yeah, you might want to be on the lookout for your job, because I don't think this young man is playing very much at all. Jermaine Johnson is also another one out here who's looking absolutely unstoppable. I don't know what that means for our offensive line, but Jermaine Johnson is a specimen, to say the least. Milton seems to be getting in the swing of things, but Jordan Travis isn't far behind from what we've gathered. I think it'd be an interesting quarterback battle as time continues to go. Atkins is not only is the offensive line still taking shape, there's talks that Maurice Smith, the guy who we thought had that center position on lock, might not, and that Atkins may be looking to upgrade that center position, but the guy might be already on the roster. And then Travis J is doing Travis J things, looking like, once again, the best defensive back on the roster. FSU will be in full pads tomorrow. I think I mentioned that already. Just to speak on Norvell real quick and what he talked about before we kind of get into the depth of this video. Too many drops today, according to Mike Norvell from the wide receiver group. Darren Williamson, has been flashing. He's a wide receiver who we didn't see quite a lot of last year. He was coming off of a knee injury as a senior in high school, true freshman last year, technically a true freshman again this year. Apparently, he's getting back in the swing of things at 6'3", 195. Seems to be making some plays out there and standing out. Mike Norvell, specifically called out, and you can call out maybe a strong word, but he mentioned these two young men in the wide receiver group by name, Ontario Wilson, Keyshawn Helton, as two guys who need to take the next step and sort of stand out. My guess is because you're talking about two seniors. He's trying to get these guys to be the leaders in that room. So he specifically called out those two guys of wanting to see more from them. Kevin Knowles has been flashing as far as the defense goes. Jackson West has been flashing as a tight end. Norvell is pleased with the entire running back room. And Thomas Schrader is the individual that I mentioned that I was referring to before. He's apparently making a push for that center position. He's apparently looking very good as a guy who's played multiple positions on that offensive line. They feel comfortable with him at center, mainly center and guard, but he has played some tackle as well. But they feel very comfortable with him, and he may be pushing for that center job for Maurice Smith if Maurice Smith doesn't watch out. And personally, I love it. I love it. I love the fact that guys are pushing other guys. I don't care if he was a freshman All-American or not. Nobody's job is locked in, especially on that offensive line. So if somebody's coming in and trying to take a job, that's exactly what I love to hear. Zane Herring has been Zane Herring, the other freshman offensive lineman, rehabbed extremely well from what they are saying. And he's also competing for some playing time. Love to hear it. And DLT, that's Love Taylor, does not look to be too much of a go this spring. Don't expect to see much of Love Taylor. He's going to rehab. He's going to be ready for the fall, but they're not going to push him, and they're not going to throw him out there this spring. So that gives a chance for some of these younger tackles, offensive linemen, to try to step up, step in, and see if they can secure, if not a spot, at least secure some playing time, some rotation time. And that is all the notes I got. That's 22 minutes worth of notes right there. That's all the notes I got, man. But what I want to get to the content, the comments here in a minute. But what I kind of want to get into today, I want to talk about Gainer at this middle linebacker position and my thoughts on that. I want to talk about who has a chance to really benefit the most from spring and who has a chance to lose the most this spring. So those are really like the three topics that we're going to dive into here on this Thursday. Who benefits the most? Who aims to lose the most if they don't perform up to par this spring? And that's what we're going to dive into here. First, we're going to start off with Amari Gainer. And before we do all of that, let's see what y'all are talking about in the comment section. By the way, hit that like button if you're not. If you haven't hit the like button already, hit the like button. The goal is to at least hit 950. Hit 950 in this live stream. If we can hit 950. We are at 944 right now. The goal is to finish this live stream with 950 subscribers. We'll see if that's possible. So if you're new here and you're not subscribed, by all means, hit it. And again, you can follow me on Podbean and Spotify. Panama Jack says, what it do, Polk? I heard Jordan Travis throws have been on point. I think Travis Hunter is recruiting MJ Morris to come on and join the 2022 class. To that first point, I heard Jordan Travis is looking pretty good. Again, they're throwing the wide open guys at this point. I don't want to dive too much into it and pretend like, him and Milton aren't necessarily being put in too. The spring is going to be used, in my opinion, to get these guys to build some chemistry with these receivers and things like that. Not too much throws under duress or anything like that, but it's good to hear Jordan Travis is fighting. Dan Squatch says MJ Morris would be huge. Polk, what's your take on Jalen Gover? Got him or not? I think they got him if they want him. He is referring to 3-star running back out of Lake Gibson High School there in Lakeland, Florida, my alma mater. Also the home of Sam McCall, 5-star athlete who is committed. If FSU wants him, he is going to be a Seminole, in my opinion. Just a matter of when Glover decides to pull that trigger. The fact that he hasn't pulled the trigger yet, every interview, everything you see from him is all 100% Florida State, tells me, and I could be dead wrong again, but the fact that he's been 100% Florida State but hasn't pulled the trigger on his commitment yet tells me that Florida State may have told him to hold off a little bit. And they might be trying to see if they can snag a bigger fish over there at running back. I think the big question a lot of people are asking is FSU taking one or two running backs. But if they want them, they got them. I believe Glover is definitely ours. Joel Hayward says, I want MJ Morris to come to the Seminoles. I think we all do. Dan Squad says Morris over Duffy. Dan Squatch says Austin over Glover. I agree with Dan Squatch there. I think Austin is better than Glover as well. That doesn't mean I don't think Glover's a good player, but I do agree with Dan Squatch there. Todd Pope says they need Marvin Jones Jr. Absolutely. Absolutely they do. Malik Smith says the fact that we are competing with Arizona State for recruits shows how bad this team is. Malik Smith, I don't really know where you're getting at with that. You can't control what team a kid that is a top 10 kid at his position, by the way. It's not like AJ Duffy is some 3-star wide receiver that only has offers from Arizona State and Arizona and New Mexico State. You're talking about a kid that could go to almost any college he wanted to. Big time blue chip prospect at quarterback. If he has interest in Arizona State for whatever reason, that's his right to have interest in that school. I don't understand how that's a bad thing. That has nothing to do. His interest in his interest in Arizona State has nothing to do with whether Florida State is in a good position or not, or whether Florida State's a bad school or not. How bad this team is hasn't kept us from getting the likes of Sam McCall, Najee Kelly, and Travis Hunter. All blue chips right there. So I don't, again, jumping the gun there. Frank Abel, what is going on? More I look at the two big-time legacies, I think you got to win 7, probably 8 to have a chance with them. What you sipping on, Polk? I answered that when I got the Jack Daniels Tennessee Honey. Tech is a sleeping giant, but they must stay asleep forever. Tech's been a sleeping giant, in my opinion, for a long time. I've always said that about them. That triple option hurt the growth of that program, in my opinion. But with them being what they are now, I'm not saying they're a good team, but they're playing a brand of ball that people will be interested in, and they're in the capital of the South over there in Atlanta, Georgia. I mean, there you go, man. If Duffy playing games, go hard after Morris. I don't think they're too much interested in Duffy at this moment anymore. It does to me seem like Duffy's playing games. What up, Kane Zay? What's up, Giuseppe? We're gonna talk about that right after I hit up all these comments. I'm a little behind on the comments. I'm gonna scroll answers just any announcements about tickets on the spring game or the next season about capacity at Doak, with Alabama announcing full pack? Well, Florida, the state of Florida has been able to have full capacity for like the last, they announced Florida was allowed to have full capacity, I want to say back in October-ish time. It's just the schools had not, while they were allowed to, they just didn't do it. So we'll see. We'll see how they choose to address that. Wayne Tillman, no, he did not. So I talked to Mark. He says he's going to post it sometime this upcoming week. Had I have known that, I would not have came out and announced it as I did. Lesson learned from me. The more you learn, the more you know. I was under the impression first that we were doing a live. Then once I realized we weren't doing a live, I was under the impression that he was going to do the interview and then post it. And then that wasn't the case. So yeah, Mark, drop that video. Drop the video. Man, I want to see Pookie Keyshawn blossom, but at this point, I gotta agree with you right there, Dan. It's gonna be hard for these guys to blossom, and you got some young Dustin Hill's not even on campus yet. Just newsflash reminder: Dustin Hill's not even on campus yet. Jordan Young may need to step. Jordan Young, but at this point, there hasn't been a mention of Jordan Young. Norvell hasn't mentioned Jordan. At this point, guys, I think Jordan Young might be one of those guys that we might just want to forget about. Hate to say it like that, but the amusement park, that amusement park's been closed for his entire time here at Florida State. If there was a time to step up, now would be the time. We have a whole long month of spring to go, so we'll see if he picks it up. But as of right now, man, Jordan Young's been very quiet. Tonight, I'm sipping on, again, the Jack Daniels Tennessee. With DLT being out, we really should get a portal. They still got that scholarship out there. We'll see if they ever address it. I still believe that they will pick up an offensive lineman at some point during the spring or the summer. Brian Robinson is gut. That's another reason why Jordan Young, he might want to reconsider, or he might want to again look in the mirror and say, I'm either going to get it done to now or I'm not going to get it done. Because Brian Robinson, Joshua Burrell, strictly speaking of those two guys, and then Mike Norvell mentioned Williamson today. So that's 3 wide receivers, freshman wide receivers at that. Right? Burrell, Williamson, and Robinson, 3 freshman wide receivers. They're coming for Jordan Young, Keyshawn Helton, and Pookie Wilson spots. Burrell looks pretty. They're calling him baby Anquan. I can see the Anquan Bolden comparisons. He's not very fast, but he's strong. He can go up and get the ball, man. He can go up to get the ball. Liking what I'm seeing from Burrell at this point. Agree with Dan Squatch again. Probably best for DLT actually to miss the spring. He doesn't necessarily need the spring. You're talking about a guy who's been 6 years in college and Love Taylor. He was a grad transfer last year. This is his 6th year in college. He doesn't need the spring per se. But there are guys behind him who definitely need those reps. Absolutely. How is Chuba doing? Haven't heard much on the Purdy bandwagon. Nigel Kelly named Alpha Dog. Yes, he was. Zozuki. What is going on, man? Changed the name. Didn't hear much about DJ in the tour of duty, but now the practice has started. His play is speaking for itself. Absolutely. The entire running back room seems to be very special. What's going on so far in spring? That's what we're talking about now. I do think Glover further from the field than Austin, so he may be a great fit for that perspective. Disappearing to the weight room for 2 years, he could be a hell of a compliment. As from Dan Squatch, Norvell said DJ showed good footwork. Cornerbacks and safeties need more interceptions. All right. I think we caught up on the comments. What up, Derek Neal? Yep. Okay. So, hold on. Alexa, turn on room light 1.
Looks like you're trying to use something from another household account. Should I control the room light 2 for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. All righty. Here we go. Amari Gaynor, moving him at this Mike/Will linebacker spot. My thoughts on it: good move, bad move. I know everybody wants to see Gaynor rushing the passer. A lot of people, including myself, I said it in the past. Gaynor needs to be rushing the passer. So let's break it down. Let's get into it. When it comes to Amari Gaynor, one of the main reasons last year why I was so adamant about him rushing the passer was the fact that they had no idea how to use him. They couldn't figure out how to get him on the field, let alone use him in the proper place. So they used him in this hybrid safety linebacker role that, quite frankly, what do they call that role? The stud? Get rid of the stud. We don't need a damn stud's position at this point. With the 4-2-5, just give me 5 DBs. We don't need a stud, and it's obvious they don't see Gainer as a pass rusher, or if they did, with how inept the pass rush last year, they would have used them in that aspect, and they didn't. So this notion of Gainer needs to rush the passer, we need to stop that. They're not going to use them. For whether they're right or wrong, that's a whole other conversation when it comes to Adam Fuller and how he's using these guys. Let's just talk about what we know. Let's talk about how they're actually being used, and we can debate whether they're right or wrong going forward. But as of right now, they don't see Gainer as a pass rusher. So my comments might be a little bit surprising, but I like the fact that they're standing him up and using him as a linebacker. Mike or Will, don't really care. Personally, I think put him at the Will spot. Ultimately, in the 4-2-5, in a lot of ways, those two spots are interchangeable. It doesn't necessarily matter who's the Mike, who's the weak side. If we're being completely honest, it doesn't quite matter. Yeah, I'm with it. Stand them up. At this point, first of all, this is Gainer's money year. Gainer needs to put something on tape that, not that he's just a great athlete. I think we all, 36 people, hit the like button, 36 people in here. I think we all agree, and I've said it for all of last year, Maury Gainer is probably the most single talented person, if not on the entire team, definitely the defense. I think Travis J might have an argument on that side of the ball. Offensively, I don't know if anybody really has an argument on that offensive side of the ball, if we're just being honest. So for me, at this point, I need Amari Gainer on the field. Period. Point blank, period. I need Gainer on the field. And if that means we're standing him up, then damn it, we're going to stand him up. But now it is time for him to put on tape what he does best. Or let me rephrase that. What can he be and specialize in? They're going to use him as a linebacker. Well, damn it, let's get it. Let's use him as a linebacker because he's in the money year. Scouts are watching him now. They already know the kind of athlete he is. But can they put him? No one's going to draft Amari Gainer just because he's a good athlete. Guess what? It's the NFL. They're all good athletes. There are no bad athletes in the NFL. Period. They're all good athletes. Can I put him at Mike linebacker in the NFL, and can he make plays and be a 3-down linebacker? That's what he needs to prove this year. I'm for it. Let's get him out there. I'd much rather have him on the field than off of the field. If we think pass rushing his strength and they're not going to use him at that, I'm throwing it out. We're not fine. I don't need to see it anymore. But at the end of the day, I need Gainer on the field. 3 downs at least. Every Gainer needs to have 600 snaps this year or whatever the case. Like, I need Gainer on the field, not how they used him last year where he barely saw the field, and when they put him on the field, they didn't know what to do with him. And yet he still led the team in tackles, by the way, for a guy that didn't even have a real position last year. So at least they're giving him position. They're giving him a chance to play a spot and make plays, and that's all I need to see. Doesn't matter which linebacker position it is. Quite frankly, if you're asking me, I'd go into the season with having Emmett Rice and Gainer be my 2 starting linebackers. And we'll go from there. So that's just me. Let's see what you guys think about that. Was it Kevin Knowles Burrell mossed on? He may not be fast, but he get off. Yeah, that was Kevin Knowles. So it was 2 freshmen going out there, but still, man, like you said, that was an impressive catch. That was an impressive catch from Burrell on that play. Finally, nobody has a sure spot. That's what this dynasty has always been about. Competition builds champions. and these vets definitely need some new bloods pushing them. I have no concern about the run game. We just need some guys to open up the pass game. To the topic, Giuseppe says Gainer needs to be rushing the passer. He can be a huge X factor, someone comparable like a Shaq Barrett. I don't disagree with you, Giuseppe. I think a lot of people look at Gainer and says skill set probably very much resembles a Shaq Barrett type. They don't want to use him that way. It's obvious they don't want to use him that way. I'm sick of wasting my breath asking to use him that way. If I'm just being honest. They don't see him as a pass rusher. As a team last year, we had 5 total sacks as a team. Jermaine Johnson alone had that many last year. As a team, we had 5 total sacks. And everybody in Florida State Nation, Seminole family, or did I say those two backwards? Seminole Nation and the Florida State family and the 863 tribe think Gainer could have been your best pass rusher, and they refused to use him that way. So at this point, I'm not going to talk about them using him as a pass rusher anymore because they don't want to use him, and I don't care no more to waste my breath to say use him that way. Put him at backer, maybe blitz him a few times. I think he can definitely probably cover a tight end where we were very weak last year covering the middle of the field from that linebacker spot. Gainer could be better there. There's things Gainer can do. Put him at linebacker, man, and I'll go from there. Gainer needs to run sideline to sideline. Mine King says he can stay on the field more now. Just put him on the field. Gainer and JR special physically, absolutely. Malik says Lawrence Toafili. Montre says Toafili. I guess when I said is there an offensive player that will rival Gainer, a lot of people think sophomore Lawrence Toafili is the most talented player on offense. That's interesting. That's interesting. Might be something we need to look into earlier. Tyler Facts, he's a bruiser. Ultimately, if Gainer could go ahead and become Bud Dupree, that'd be cool. I think when he's fully developed, that's how you squeeze the special out best. They saying Corbin looking good. What's going on, AR10? If Burrell keeps performing like he is, it's going to be hard to keep him off the field. Y'all offense ain't the problem. Get some defense easily, 7 or 8. Kentron could jump on the young receiver pile too. I feel like Jermaine is going to ball out. Giuseppe says, I don't know, man. Not feeling Adam Fuller. Nobody's feeling Adam Fuller. But I'm willing to give him a second chance. But if he ain't cutting it, we need to immediately cut the cord. Them not knowing how to use Gainer is a red flag. I completely agree, Giuseppe. Them not knowing how to really use this guy is a red flag. You know? It's like giving a bazooka to a chimpanzee. It's basically what he has right now. He's got an elite weapon, a bazooka, an M250 Cal, a Mark 19, something like that. He's got an elite weapon, and he'd rather pick up a stick and a stone and try to fight off a horde of enemies, right? So the fact that they don't know how to use this weapon, I don't know, but I am not against this linebacker move. Again, that might surprise some people, but I'm not against it. I want to see it. I want to see him. I want to see how it plays out. Rose talking to AR about hiding. They talking about that Georgia stuff. And Toafili is the best player on offense. Any word on DeMore Tate? He's out there playing. They posted pictures of him today. Had the helmet on. Out there running around playing, going through the drills. DeMore Tate is out there, and DeMore Tate is in full effect. Supposedly, Wren showed some real speed today. Well, we know he's fast. The thing with Wren for me isn't about the speed. I know he's fast. Newsflash, guys. They ain't playing in pads right now. So everybody's looking pretty good right now. Everybody can run. Everybody's making plays. Even Joshua Burrell, who I think is good, and I don't think his production is going to slip. But everything changes once you throw them pads on. Wren was looking fast last year, and then DeKalen Brooks popped him in the fall practice, and we never heard from him again. I'm just saying, not saying that that's going to happen this year, but Everybody's fast until the pads come on and we start really clapping. Men and the boys get separated once them pads come on. Shout out to Corey Wren. We could really use them though. Hope we get something out of that. Hope we get something out of that. Now, that's all I had to say on Gainer. Now I want to know you guys' opinion. Who are some of the players that we think are going to benefit the most from the spring game, and who are some of the players that have a lot to lose? I mean, I got a couple guys off the top of my head, but I want to see what you guys think. Kane Zay says, I'm not too high on Milton. This is a whole different conference. Well, you could have said the same thing about De'Aaron King, but De'Aaron King was able to lead you guys to 8 victories. And while I don't think De'Aaron King personally is the greatest quarterback ever, I think he brought a different type of mentality that helped the Hurricanes out. As far as Mackenzie Milton goes, you can talk about the conference all you want. Mackenzie Milton threw for 4,000 yards, 37 touchdowns, ran for another 600 yards. The only thing that, in my opinion, that won't translate from conference to conference would be the running ability, especially now with the knee injury. But he threw yards against Auburn. Mackenzie Milton played enough top competition. Well, I don't think that's what we're really worried about here as far as conference play. I'm hyped about the first day of pads. Thank you. The first day of pads was always the day. It was always the day that changed everything. I'm with you, Dan Twice. That first day of pads is going to be different. It's going to tell you a lot. 2 starting cornerbacks positions are open. Yes. I think now we haven't heard much of this guy so far. I think Brendan Moore, maybe that could be with the knee injury. They might just be reserving him. He might not be a full go. Ultimately, man, this spring might be very much for the younger guys, the Akeem Dents and guys like that. But I think Moore is going to lock down one position. Jerry and Jones has looked solid so far. I think I saw a clip where I think he jumped a pass and got an interception. So there you have it there with Jerry and Jones as well. But they are definitely both corner spots are open. AR, my man says, check my channel, Kim folks. Spring ball hits different once you go full contact. Absolutely. Once you go full contact, all these cool plays and Corey Wren showing speed and Joshua Burrell out there mossing Knowles, it's all good. Don't get me wrong. I love to see it. Can you do it when the pads come on? Can you do it when there's another guy potentially headhunting you? Those are the questions that will be answered here. Oklahoma drill, bull in the ring, eye openers. Frank Abel says, what is FSU's records will be this year? Not going to jump the gun on the record. There's a lot to go before I can jump the gun on that record. What I will say, though, is we need 7 to 8 to start to do what I think they have a chance to do. And if you know, you know. ACC aren't too different, if we're being honest. Not at all. Only thing different between the ACC and the AAC, which is the Atlantic, the Atlantic, and then what's that? The American, right? The All-American Conference, or whatever the hell they call it. The Atlantic Coast Conference and the All-American. Well, the only difference is the top. Is that we have a Clemson, and they don't. But there's not a lot of difference from you're talking about Syracuse, Louisville, Wake Forest. There's not a big difference between those caliber of schools and your Memphises, your Cincinnatis, so on and so forth. There's really not a lot of difference. Milton lit up the Auburn team that took it to Bama. That was my point, Joel. Milton played enough competition to where I don't think we can say that the conferences really matter. Dimes are dimes. Heard Travis is dropping dimes today. Travis has looked good from what I've heard too as well. AAC wins a bunch of games every year playing people not in the AAC. The O-line, they showed good improvement with little to no spring ball. Expecting big things. Novell says Darius Washington is looking good. Darius Washington apparently had his first real offseason workout. He struggled with a shoulder injury last year. So he's behind the curve as far as strength goes. But again, I think no Love Taylor is actually a benefit to this line for the spring. Now, come fall, you're going to need Love Taylor to be a full go. But in March and April, I think we're fine. Because a lot of these younger kids, my dark horse, who I haven't forgot about, guys, and I'm going to stick with it until I'm proven otherwise, but my dark horse, Lord Willis, guess what he's going to have a chance to do? Get a bunch of snaps with Love Taylor being out. He's going to get his opportunities. Akeem Dent has a lot to gain or lose. Not counting last year, the past 5 years, ACC had more wins over head-to-head SECs. When I say different conferences, I mean different mentality. Y'all O-line must protect him because teams know what kind of injury. You definitely got to protect him. I mean, but that goes with any quarterback. But yeah, absolutely, you got to protect him. Moore got mentioned today. He had a good day, if I remember correctly. Marquise Dupree was going on. Same goes for King, but King had a little more athletic. He had 2 or 3 major knee injuries. Yeah, King didn't have that type of injury that Milton had. King, I know he had some injuries, and he's had more, but Milton literally almost lost his leg. So, yeah, I'm not really focused on the offense. I think Norvell has proven himself to be very crafty. We need to strictly focus on defense. Joel says, I'm tired of the ACC bashing. Only in the SEC East can you lose 4 games. I could care less about the ACC, if I'm being honest. I don't sit here and I don't pump or root for the ACC. I think that's chump moves. As Florida State fans, we should not be rooting for the ACC. Who gives a damn? That's that stuff that that's those Ole Miss fans and the Mississippi State fans and those South Carolina fans. They do that because their schools never amount to anything. So Bama SEC or Georgia SEC. That's what they do. The fact is, your school is who you should be repping, not an entire conference. What's going on, Priscilla? So, all right, Raider Nolan in the building. What's going on? How do I feel about Chad Neal at tackle? I don't really like it, to be honest with you. I guess a big body, 6'7", 300 plus pounds, but the guy couldn't, at 6'7", long, lanky, and he couldn't make an impact at tackle. I don't know how much he makes an impact at D tackle unless you're just saying that he can be a space eater. That's just how I feel there, but when we talk about who has the most to gain from the spring, I think it's these offensive linemen. A guy like Thomas Schrader and Zane Herring and Brady Scott, who we're all forgetting about Brady Scott. And I even fell victim to this. I forgot that the guy was even still on the roster. Yet Brady Scott is a very versatile offensive lineman who can play guard or tackle, has been a 5-year. I think this is either his 4th or 5th year in the program. One of the more developed players. Brady Scott could surprise some people. And again, no Love Taylor. Don't be surprised if Brady Scott is at left tackle over a guy like Darius Washington. Brady Scott is a very versatile lineman to have, and I'm glad I forgot we had him, but I'm glad we got him because while he hasn't been great over his career, he hasn't been terrible either. He's been able to come in and play when needed to be played, and he's been really the ultimate team player. So what development does a Brady Scott get? Well, guess what? He's going to get a chance. He's going to get a chance. So guys like Brady Scott have a lot to gain this spring. Because he's not a start, even though he's an upperclassman, he hasn't been a starter anyway. So Brady Scott has a chance to gain some ground. If we're just talking about guys that have stuff to gain, now we're talking about guys with something to lose on that offensive line. It's Bavion. I think Bavion probably would be penciled in as the starting guard because he was the starting guard last year. But at this point, with Bavion being guaranteed a false start a game, and I'm probably being kind there, probably more like 2 or 3 false starts a game. If Bavion doesn't bring it this offseason, Thomas Schrader, Zane Herring, they're breathing down his neck. Brady Scott is breathing down his neck. What about Ira Henry? Could be breathing down his neck. I think Darius Washington is a better guard than he is a tackle. Personally, Darius Washington could be breathing down Bavion's spot by all means is not solidified. So we strictly talking offensive line. I think a guy like Brady Scott, Thomas Schrader, Zane Herring, those guys have everything to gain with good performances. Those guys have everything to gain. But a guy like Bavion has everything to lose. Because unlike Donta Lucas, he's not as talented as Donta Lucas. Now, Donta Lucas has his own little things he has to work through, more so his attitude than anything else, and keeping even keel. But as far as talent-wise, he arguably is probably the most talented offensive lineman you have just from a raw physical ability. Maurice Smith has a little bit to lose. We already talked about it. Atkins and Norvell says these guys like Zane Herring and Thomas Schrader, man, they're coming. They're coming for some of these spots. Maurice Smith may have a little bit to lose. It's a good thing to have. Again, that competition that's pushing, I love it. But on that O-line, if we're talking mainly, I think Brady Scott has a lot to gain if he's able to put together a solid camp and show that growth as a fourth or fifth year player. And I think Bavion being a sixth year, right? I think this is good. Will this be his sixth or fifth year? Bavion's in that upper echelon of fifth or sixth year. If he doesn't drastically improve, Bavion could be out, could be sitting on the bench. Wide receivers. Let's go to wide receivers. Who's got the most to gain? Who's got the most to lose? Well, we covered them already. If we just start with who has the most to lose. Pookie Wilson, Keyshawn Helton, and Jordan Young have everything to lose this offseason if they do not show up and show out. It's really that simple. Because the guys behind them, I would argue, are probably more talented than them. Those three guys I just mentioned, you realize they were all 3 stars. So none of them were necessarily highly talented. I think Jordan Young might be the tallest one out of them at a 6'1", 6'2". Ontario Wilson maybe 6 foot even. Helton is on the shorter side for a slot as a slot receiver. Brian Robinson, Malik McLean, Joshua Burrell, Kentron Portier, and Williamson. 4 of those 5 guys I just named. Portier 6'4", Malik McLean 6'5", Williamson 6'3". Who am I forgetting? Burrell 6'2", or 6'2" and up, pushing, if not over, 200 pounds. If they don't show up, we might not see Ontario Wilson. We may not see Keyshawn Helton, and we may not see Jordan Young this entire year. Period. We're strictly talking wide receivers right now. Oh, and like I said before, Dustin Hill is not on campus. Andrew Parchment is not on campus. Yeah, those are 2 guys who are going to come in and try to make instant impact as soon as they get on campus. So all of those young guys have absolutely everything to gain this offseason and are going to be given every opportunity. Those 3 upperclassmen that I just mentioned, I think Jordan Young might be already out of the mix, but I'm out of respect, I'm going to put him in the mix. I think Young could already be out of the mix. It would not shock me. It wouldn't shock me if at the beginning of the season you see a lineup of Andrew Parchment, Brian Robinson, and maybe Ontario Wilson to start the season. Throw Helton in there every now and then. It wouldn't surprise me by halfway through the season to the end of the season, those guys are completely out of the rotation. Just they're physically not as good. Now they can come with the intangibles. But have they shown the intangibles since they've been at Florida State? See, that's the thing. because they're not as physically gifted as some of these wide receivers that I just named. They're not over 6 foot tall. They're not over 200 pounds. They don't have 40-inch vertical leaps, big hands, right? They're on the smaller side when you start talking about wide receivers. They might be able to run fast in a straight line, but so can those other guys. But where's the intangibles? Well, they didn't show the intangibles last year because they dropped a ton of passes. They ran the wrong routes. So unless they can pick up that intangibles, they're going to get overlooked. They're going to get overlooked, man. They're going to get overlooked. And as far as my wide receiver goes, yeah, I think those 3 guys could be the guys with the most to lose. And every young wide receiver has the most to gain. Running back, who has the most to lose? Who has the most to gain? In no fault of his own, because I think Jashaun Corbin is doing everything right. But he has the most to lose because he's been the incumbent starter his time since he's been at Florida State. But I just had a bunch of people in chat tell me Lawrence Toafili is the most talented player on the offensive side of the ball. If that's true, I'm not saying you guys are wrong or right, but if that's true, Corbin ain't gonna he can't hold off Toafili much longer. I think people are sleeping on this DJ Williams. Like, if this guy didn't run for like 200 yards against a national championship LSU caliber team, DJ's coming in with a vengeance through no fault of his own, because I think Jashaun Corbin is doing everything right. And I was probably the lone defender of Jashaun Corbin for majority of the time last year. Because while he wasn't the most explosive, while he wasn't, he didn't have those eye-catchy plays like LaDamian Webb when Damian went spinning off tacklers and doing all that. Cool. And he wasn't getting 9 yards a pop like Lawrence Toafili. Cool. Jashaun Corbin was the most consistent back. You could count on him to get the short yards, to catch the ball out of the backfield, to block when he needed to block. I've been a defender of Corbin. I've said Corbin does a lot of good things very well, which is why he's been the starter. So by no fault of Corbin's own, I think, he's not doing the right things. I just think he has the most to lose. Because the guys behind him have a chance to be very, very good. And who has the most to gain? I think it's Toafili. If Toafili is as special as some of us think, if he's the best player on offense like some of you guys think, whew, how long before he's the number one guy? So I think Corbin has the most to lose, and I think Toafili has the most to gain. So we've done O-line, wide receiver, running back. Let me read a comment real quick. Harshman is definitely a start as soon as he gets Parchment. He meant Parchment. This is from Golf Hill, by the way. It's definitely a starter as soon as he gets here. We just don't know who's going to start on the other side of him. We have an idea probably who's going to start on defense and quarterback. And Tyler says, I think Corbin had an excellent year, but he does have the most to lose. And then Montre says DJ is a wild card. Agreed there. So yeah, I agree with all you guys. I mean, he has the most to lose. It is what it is. Again, no fault of his own. It's just a talent. There's some talent in that room. Tight ends. I want to do quarterbacks last. Tight ends. Who has the most to lose? Well, who has the most to lose is Cam McDonald, because very similar to Jashaun Corbin, he's been the incumbent starter. I think physically, as far as pass catching wise, he's your only true pass catching tight end. But Norvell is extremely high on this Jackson West. After every time I've heard Mike Norvell give an interview, if there's one player that he constantly mentions, it's Jackson West. He is high on this Jackson West kid. He's high on Preston Daniels as well, from what I hear. So those two have a lot to gain. The reason I say Cam McDonald has a lot to lose is because unless he's improved his blocking this year, that's where, if you look at the style of tight ends that they're bringing into the program, they're kind of getting away. It's not to say that there's not to say that these guys can't catch. These guys can catch the ball, but they're getting away from. Cam McDonald is built like a Pitts who's going to be in the NFL out of Florida. Cam McDonald, when you look at him, okay, he's a big wide receiver who plays tight end. Cam McDonald is a 6'4", 230 some odd pound wide receiver. That's really what he is, and that's what the tight end position is evolved into in recent years anyway. But because of the type of players they're bringing in, they're looking for more of a well-rounded tight ends, guys who can block and be a little sneaky, athletic on the outside and do some things. The question is Cam McDonald just not fit where that position is going here at Florida State? And I think that's a legit question to ask. Again, not through the fault of Cam McDonald. I just think he has the most to lose because I'm not sure he fits the plans going forward. Daniel has a scholarship to gain, so I say he has the most to gain. Luckily for the running backs, Norvell's run the offense. Luckily for the running backs, hold on a second. Luckily for the running backs, Norvell has a man, it's raining pretty hard out here. I don't know if you guys can hear the rain, but if you hear that's rain. My bad, Panama. Lucky for the running backs, offense. Norvell runs an offense which depends on multiple running backs at the same time on the field, so they will be utilized. And yeah, that boy Jackson West is special. Norvell seems to love him. And now finally, quarterback. The truth is this who has the most to gain and the most to lose is the same guy. When we talk about quarterback, it's the same guy. And it's not who you guys think. It ain't Milton. Milton has nothing to lose, guys, whether you believe it or not. This guy, Milton hasn't played football in 3 years. Almost lost his leg. Like literally almost lost the bottom from his knee down. Like was completely twisted or whatever. Milton has nothing really to lose. No one's us here at Florida State think Milton and want Milton and hope Milton and pray that Milton's going to be the quarterback that he was at UCF. Not a lot of people in the country share that same sentiment. Not a lot of people think he's going to be able to sit out for 2 to 3 years and come back and be the same guy. At the end of the day, man, Milton has everything to gain and nothing to lose. But there's a player, in my opinion, that has even more to gain and even more to lose. And that's Travis. That's Jordan Travis. That's Jordan Travis. Because not only does he have a chance, if he can outplay Milton, that'd speak volumes and be huge to what Jordan Travis and the growth that he would have had in a year. But Jordan Travis can go from being the potential starter on this team to being sitting not only behind Milton, but a guy like Chubba Purdy. Jordan Travis could go from being first string. Now, I don't think Rodemaker can beat him out, but I always got to bring it up because it's worth bringing up. Last year, they thought Rodemaker was a better quarterback. Rodemaker got a start. They thought Rodemaker was a better option than Jordan Travis. And it's because of stuff like that, the fact that they didn't really think he was going to. I said it last year, and while I applaud Mike Norvell and Kenny Dillingham for calling a game to his skill set, at the end of the day, they lucked into Jordan Travis because they didn't believe in him. They believed in Tate Rodemaker before they believed in him. And don't let them tell you any differently because what they decided to put on the field showed you what they thought of Jordan Travis. That they put him behind a guy in Tate Rodemaker who I think we would all agree was a deer in the headlights against Jacksonville State. If there was one game you were going to give Rodemaker the start, it was going to be Jacksonville State, and you said, okay, he can play against FCS school and have some success. And no, that dude looked like he didn't even belong on that football field. So at the end of the day, Jordan Travis has everything to lose and everything to gain. Because he can either go from being the starter to the second string with packages being run for him to who the hell knows, fourth string, and maybe looking to transfer to his second school if he's not feeling like he's getting his fair shake. Like, that's legit how big the gap is for Jordan Travis. I think he's going to push Milton. But the question is Chubba Purdy going to push him? I think I think Jordan Travis has the most to gain and the most to lose, man. Montrez says we need to run a 2 tight end set. In some instances, I get you there. But remember, you 2 tight ends, so you're taking. They already don't play with a fullback. So when you say run a 2 tight end set, what are we doing? We're taking a wide receiver off the field. So you're talking about a jumbo, like you get what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna run 2 tight ends. It'd be interesting to see. I'm going with Jordan Travis as y'all starter. I've said it since last year in today's NFL. If Jordan Travis can get more accurate and add arm strength, he's NFL caliber. Showed a lot of flashes, and with Dillingham there, I can only imagine he will be better. So that's the offense. So on the offensive side of the ball, we said Jordan Travis in the quarterback room has the most to gain and the most to lose. At least that's what I say. Running back, I think Ja'Shawn Corbin has the most to lose. Toll Philly probably has the most to gain, with DJ being definitely a wild card. Wide receivers, those 3 upper class wide receivers have everything to lose. Well, all those underclassmen have everything to gain. A guy like Brady Scott has a chance to gain a lot here on this offensive line, where I think Bavion probably has the most to lose on that offensive line. Cam McDonald has the most to lose, with a guy like Jackson West or Preston Daniels coming up the rear. Derek Neal says, would it be safe to say every position is up for grabs? Yes, and it should be. Yes, and it should be. Absolutely. And that includes defensively. Matter of fact, when I look at this team, if Parchment was on the team, I'd say Parchment has a position, bar none. I think Love Taylor has a position. The question is, what is his position? Can we find another tackle, or are we going to force him to play tackle, or can we move him inside? I would say offensively, Parchment, who's not here yet, Love Taylor, who won't be participating in the spring, are probably the only 2 guys on offense that I would say is a lock. I think by default, I don't think Milton came here to sit out. And I don't know if Jordan Travis can make that type of progress in a year to catch him. So part of me wants to say Mackenzie Milton is locked in at quarterback. Matter of fact, I'll say it. Do I think there's going to be a competition? Yeah. Do I think Milton's going to start day one? Yes, I do. Everything else is up for grabs, though, man. Everything else I think is up for grabs. I'm telling you, Jordan Travis, he's like a poor man's Russell Wilson. We were 0-9 if we didn't put Jordan Travis, because Jacksonville State would have embarrassed us. I think Jordan Travis, with these weapons at running back and wide receiver, is deadly. We had 3 wins last year. Hell yeah, everyone's spot is up for grabs. There you go. Defensively, let's start inside out. Defensive tackle. Who has the most to gain? Who has the most to lose? This one's kind of interesting. I don't know if anybody really has. I think they'll rotate them enough. As I look at this room, I think Coop's fine. I think Lovett's going to be fine. I would say definitely a guy with the most to gain would be a Malcolm Ray. Like, we talk about him. I feel like every offseason, everybody asks a million questions. Man, where's Malcolm Ray? Is Malcolm Ray gonna Malcolm Ray? He's Malcolm Ray, and then we never see him. There's a guy that has the most to gain. Malcolm Ray. Malcolm Ray has the most to gain. And maybe a guy like Joshua Farmer can come in there and push everybody too. But as far as most to lose, because the facts are we haven't quite recruited that position the way it needs to be recruited. I don't think Robert Cooper has anything to lose. I think he's going to be in the rotation for sure. Fabian Love is going to be in the rotation for sure. Briggs is going to be in that rotation. I guess a guy like Jarrett Jackson, the Louisville guy, who they moved from DN to D tackle, who's supposed to be up over 300 pounds now. He might be the guy that has the most to lose just because of a Joshua Farmer. When a Chambry Jackson gets on campus. When True Thompson or if Malcolm Ray can take that spot. So, yeah. But because they're going to rotate so many guys, I don't quite think there's really much to lose. Defensive end, I mean, Jermaine Johnson has, I think it's safe to say he has one spot on lock. And he has nothing to lose because I don't know if there's anyone behind him. I don't know if there's anyone behind Jermaine Johnson that can take his spot. I don't know if there's anybody behind him who can take his spot. So I think he's locked with nothing to lose and everything to gain. If Jermaine Johnson is a guy who had 5 sacks last year and limited playing time with Georgia, I don't want to say he's a double sack guy, but if he can go for 8 or 10 this year with his, you're talking about a guy who could potentially be a number one a first round pick going into the next year's draft. Potentially. That other defensive end spot. Is it Keir Thomas? I still think that they put him there. I don't think Keir Thomas is going to be a legit every down end. I think he's a guy that they're going to move inside. I think Keir Thomas is going to have more effect on the inside than the outside. Now, the question is Josh Griffiths, McClendon, Quayshawn Fuller, Curtis Fan. Yeah, those are the guys who have everything to lose in this offseason. I'm going to just tell you that right now. Tyler just said it. If Josh Griffiths don't show some flashes this year, he can go by the wayside. Quayshawn Fuller could end up going by the wayside. Curtis Fan could end up going by the wayside. And so could Derek McClendon. Why do I say that? Because Patrick Payton ain't on the team yet. Patrick Payton ain't on campus yet. And from day one, other than maybe Jermaine Johnson, Patrick Payton is going to have the quickest first step off the line than any other defensive end on the team, period. It's not even a question. I already know it. Patrick Payton's probably the best athlete outside of Jermaine Johnson on that defensive line at the end position. And he don't but weigh 200 pounds, 205, 210, 215 soaking wet. We'll see what weight he comes in the fall and how much weight they can put on him in that time. If I'm Patrick Payton, I'm assuming, even though he doesn't come till summertime, fall time, I'm assuming he's working with a nutritionist and trying to put on some muscle. But Payton's going to come in and be the best pure athlete. Oh, and I didn't even mention George Wilson. Yeah, him too. You're talking about 2 true, twitchy, fast defensive ends that aren't even on the campus yet. If Fuller and Fan and McClendon and Griffiths don't show you something in this spring, that they can be a compliment to Jermaine Johnson opposite of him. The only thing keeping those other 2 guys off the field is weight. Is the fact that Patrick Payton, I think, was listed 6'5", 205. and George Wilson was listed 6'5", 215. It's the only thing keeping those young men off of the field. Because if they weigh 220 to 230, they'd be starting day one. And that's no question. It's get off the pot time for McClendon and McCray. We ain't got the linebackers yet, but definitely for McClendon. What is going on, Adrian Thomas? I thought Malcolm Ray was in the portal. No, Malcolm Ray's not in the portal. We don't have anybody left in the portal as far as, I mean, Warren Thompson's still in the portal, but I don't consider him part of the team anymore. So Florida State doesn't really have anybody in the portal as of right now. Fannin Fuller, same way. He's still going to be a little light. I think we get something out of 55. That's McClendon, right? And I like McClendon. I think McClendon played better as the year went on last year. But they have the most to lose. They definitely have the most to lose, with Patrick Payton and George Wilson having everything to gain. I'm pretty high on Briggs. He surprised the heck out of me after that time off he had. And he'll be playing more inside. Briggs will be more the defense. Now, I think they list him as a defensive end, but if they use him anything like they did last year, he'll be playing more inside. But you brought up Jaleel McCray. Linebackers. Who's got the most to lose? Who's got the most to gain in the linebacking core? Hold on. I didn't even mention, I think, before we go to linebackers, Leonard Warner, this might shock some people because I just thought about this. Leonard Warner has everything to gain and nothing to lose at this DN position. I completely forgot about Leonard Warner and the fact that they're supposed to be moving him to defensive end. Why do I say that? Nobody, including myself. Like I just said, I completely forgot about the guy. There's not a soul that is expecting an ounce of production out of Leonard Warner. There's not a soul that is expecting an ounce of production out of Leonard Warner. Half of us probably forgot he was on the team still. He almost transferred out and they convinced him to stay. Why? Who the heck knows? What if something just finally clicks for Leonard Warner in this offseason? And he can play. They say he's up to 2. Remember, Leonard Warner's about 6'3", 6'4". I think they say he's up to 240-ish, almost damn like 246, almost 250 is what I think they are saying. Imagine that. Imagine if this guy is able to generate pressure off the edge. Imagine if we can get 4, 5, 6 sacks out of a Leonard Warner. The guy has everything to gain, which I didn't even think of. And he has nothing to lose because no one's expecting a lick out of Leonard Warner anyway. No one's expecting anything out of that. So shout out to Leonard Warner, man. He might be a sleeper. Now to the linebackers. Tyler says Rice has the most to lose. It's basically his last chance to put together a full season. Yeah. This is Emmett Rice's last chance to show the NFL that he can play linebacker at the next level. Peyton reminds me of young Burns. I've always felt like Griffith should get close to the 300 and bump inside to D tackle. Would have to be another year or two to contribute, but he has to think about it with the future DNs coming in. Absolutely. Gainer has the most to gain. This year, he plays himself into the NFL. Warner has the physical tools to play on the edge. There you go. So you guys pretty much stole my thunder, but I appreciate your insight and input because I agree for the most part. Rice has the most to lose. The beautiful thing about this linebacker room, I don't know if it's the beautiful thing. They didn't recruit anybody. So, yeah, if we're saying Rice has the most to lose, it's because maybe Steven Dix or DJ Lundy or Jaleel McCray take his spot. Maybe Jalen McCluster. I think Deloach is still on the team. Yeah, maybe those guys can come in and take a spot. But, there's nobody that's really. They didn't bring in some type of special talent at linebacker that you're like, hey, if these guys don't get it together, right? There's no Dustin Hill of the linebacker route. There's no guy that's in the background coming, his shadow lurking. And they're like, when this guy gets on campus, uh-oh. So you're absolutely right. Emmett Rice has the most to lose because this is his last chance. But there's not really to Emmett Rice's favor. He's seen these guys before. He knows already what he's up against. Hopefully those guys can step their game up and push Emmett Rice to the next level. And as far as Gainer, you're absolutely right. Has the most to gain because for a guy who played sparingly last year, he's going to be playing more this year, and this is his chance. Like it was said, this is his chance to show that he's not just a good athlete on defense, that he's a good football player. What up, Chris Robinson? Lundy's in the mix, but see, Lundy doesn't have anything to lose or gain. See, guys like Lundy and Steven Dix, they would have a lot to lose if there was a good class of linebackers coming behind them that could overtake their positions because they're still freshmen, and those guys would be freshmen, right? If FSU had recruited a couple 4-star linebackers to come in and push DJ Lundy and Steven Dix, then you can make the case that those two guys have something to lose. There's nobody behind them. Steven Dix and DJ Lundy and Jaleel McCray and these guys, they're just competing within each other, but there's nobody coming that's pushing them. They have to get it in their head to push each other to be great. But FSU did a piss poor job recruiting the linebacker position last year. That's one position that I'm like, what the hell were they? How did they not see the need to add talent to that position? They seem to be happy with it. I've been saying that for a few months now. They seem to be happy with that position. Fair enough. These guys don't really have anything to lose because there's nothing behind them waiting in the weeds, so to speak. I don't know why we wouldn't use Gainer more off the edge. Fuller has to go. That boy Dix is special, though. Polk, what is going on, Tim? It has been a while. You don't show up that much. You missed it, Tim. We had Brady Stevenson on here, man. We had him on the channel for an interview, man. Tim, where you been at, man? If Rice doesn't step up, we got Steven Dix ready to take over full time, and we will have playing time this year. Not sure if anyone asked this, but do you think we will see two QBs play like Florida did? If two QBs, you're essentially, do you think Jordan Travis and Mackenzie Milton are going to, I don't want to say split snaps because that wouldn't be the case, but, are they going to package them? I do expect some type of packaging potentially for Jordan Travis, but the more I have thought about it, the more I think they may not use Jordan Travis to the extent that we think unless they are comfortable with Chuba Purdy. Before I finish on this linebacker stuff and go into the other positions, I'll touch on this quarterback stuff real quick and my thought process on it. If Purdy can emerge as a legit backup, then I think you'll see a lot more situations where they will use Jordan Travis, line him up wide, line him up in the backfield, wildcat him, all that stuff, because the risk of injury is high. Jordan Travis showed that he had a tough time staying healthy. But if Purdy, it can be a legit backup quarterback to Milton, you don't worry too much about the risk of injury because he may be listed as number 2 on the depth chart, but he ain't the real number 2 on the depth chart is. Chuba Purdy is. However, Purdy can't take that step, and they have to have Jordan Travis legit be ready to play quarterback. You might not get that because the truth is Mackenzie Milton isn't exactly the most durable either. We don't know how that knee holds up for an entire year. So, yeah. That's just something to think about. What's the best way to use Jay? We'll get to the corners and the DBs here in a second. You Can't Handle the Truth podcast says, I'm interested in what Curtis Fan, TJ Davis, Malcolm Ray bring to the table. TJ Davis is a guy I forgot about. He plays defensive end. It's another guy, man. Again, they better show up and show out because them kids that they are bringing in, they might have something to say about that. Do you think they put too much stock on getting Jennings? I don't. Jennings decommitted. Somebody tell me, what month did Jennings decommit? I feel like Jennings decommitted fairly early enough that they could have replaced him. Maybe not the same caliber of player, but they could have brought in some linebackers. What I think is maybe it has something to do a little bit with Jennings, but I also think that they have some gems in Shaheem Brown and Jordan Eubanks. I guess that's my thought, is that they think that these extremely low-rated guys, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I think Jordan Eubanks, I mean, I could look it up right now, but I think Jordan Eubanks was rated in like the 600s. I'm not even sure I think Shaheem Brown was rated in the 1,000. Like, I'll get the exact ratings for you right now, just so people don't say I'm being a hater or I'm being negative. I'm just going to give you the straight facts of what these kids were rated. Let's go to 2021. Here we go. By the way, I forgot all about Mr. Byron Turner, another defensive end that's coming in to take that heat. So yeah, Curtis Fan, TJ Davis, yeah, you might want to show that you can step up and play. Okay, Jordan Eubanks was nationally ranked 933. Shaquem Brown was nationally ranked 981. Now, again, I've talked about those guys before. Jordan Eubanks, I'm not very high on at all. Frankly, I'm not sure either guy is a FSU caliber player. Rank that low, that's pretty ridiculous. Now, I have watched Shaheem Brown. I like his physical tools a lot more than I like Eubanks, and I think Shaheem Brown could be a sleeper or a gem. My problem is, man, I think they're putting too much stock in that because those are the two linebackers they recruited. Two guys pushing damn near 1,000 in the ranking. Marv, yes. Marv not only needs to step up in recruiting, he needs to step up coaching on the field. If there's on offense, to me, this year is make or break time for Ron Dugans. Dugans got too much talent in wide receiver room. From Brian Robinson being finally healthy to bringing in Dustin Hill, Malik McClain, Joshua Burrell, Adam Parchment. That's just 5 guys right there. I won't even talk about the guys who are already on campus and Portier and Williamson. Well, I did talk about Brian Robinson, and apparently they're adding Ja'Kai Douglas to the wide receiver room. Too much talent. Dugans is on the hot seat offensively, and Marv is on the hot seat for that defense, in my opinion, other than Adam Fuller, obviously. But if we're just talking about positions, it's Marv. I thought Davis had the right mindset to do the work coming in. If they're not on Florida State's current roster, then we have nobody in the portal. Yeah, we don't have anybody in the portal as of right now. I trust this staff's talent evaluation coming out of Memphis. Finding them gems was their whole game. I don't think there is a need to play 2 QBs because we have that same situation we had with Tag. And Montre says, hell yeah, Tyler. DBs, who's got everything to lose and everything to gain in that defensive back room? Just off the bat, man, Akeem Dent has everything to lose if he does not show up this offseason. I don't think anybody will disagree there. Akeem Dent could sooner or later, I think we all expect this guy to turn it on. But Demore Tate is there in practice, live, right now, ready to play football. All 6'2", 200 pounds of him. They brought in 3 defensive back transfers. They're there, ready to play now. Miko Dotson is apparently coming back. This is a name that continues to pop up anytime you listen to the interviews. Miko Dotson name continues to pop up. Brownlee, Ronaldo Green, who I know he's more of a safety. The whole point is Keem Dent has a good chance that if he does not show up, show out, look himself in the mirror and says, do I want this or not? He gets left behind in this defensive back room, period. They're deep. There's a ton of guys. It is what it is. And guess what? I haven't even talked about Omarion Cooper and Hunter Washington, who aren't even on campus yet. 2 4-star DBs that's coming in. You get what I'm saying? Keem Dent, again, you either show up or show out, or you're going to get left behind, my friend. Everything to gain. It's a little bit tougher. I expect a guy like Jerry and Jones to be in the mix, but honestly, I think a guy like Brandon Moore may have a ton of stuff to gain. Now, you can argue that he has stuff to lose, but again, these guys coming off of these knee injuries, these career-ending, threatening knee injuries, what does he really have to lose? Brandon Moore's another guy who's been playing college football for 5 or 6 years. He doesn't have anything to lose. You could argue that his time to be drafted has come and gone. Even if he has a great season. Will an NFL team use a high draft pick on a 6-year senior who's had a knee injury at corner already? I don't know if Brandon Moore has anything to really lose. But if he does put together a great season, maybe a team does take a fly on him in the draft. And then at the safeties, oops. That's tough. The safety's tough. The safety position is tough for me. Because I'm looking at it, the position as a whole. I'm not so sure anybody really has anything to lose, man. Maybe Brandon Gant has something to lose. Because I think this might be a make or break year for Brandon Gant, but at least unlike Akeem Dent, who we don't even know if they see what kind of light they see him in. We know they at least like Brandon Gant in certain situations. Brandon Gant played a lot of football by the end of last year and played pretty well down the stretch. So I like Brandon Gant's chances. And as of right now, my probably 2 starting safeties would be Gant and Jay, with Ronaldo Green in that mix somewhere too. So I'm not, maybe if I had to pick a guy, it'd be Gant. But I think a guy like Sidney Williams has everything to gain. I don't think he has anything to lose. Sidney Williams can come in there and steal a spot. He played a lot of snaps by the end of last year as well, and he didn't look half bad either. He was a guy coming off of a knee injury in high school, eventually got on the field and didn't look half bad. He gets his first spring. He's going to get his offseason workouts, and he's going to get his fall. Sidney Williams might have a chance. Sidney Williams might have a chance to come in there and take a job. Would not shock me. Ronaldo Green, I'm not forgetting about him because he's a dog. Ronaldo Green's a dog. And the only reason I would put Brandon Gant and Jay as my starters because I think Ronaldo Green is very similar in terms of skill set to Travis Jay. More of a ball hawk, free safety type, see the field, make plays. Gant's more you're in the box, going to hit you, run support. So I don't know if you want 2 safeties like Ronaldo Green and Travis Jay because then you kind of take some physicality and who's really hitting. But you get what I'm saying? Like Ronaldo Green is right in the mix. Gant would now that I think about it, Gant probably has the most to lose because I can see a Sidney Williams, I can see a Ronaldo Green, maybe McKnight can push a, these are guys who I think may be able to push Brandon Gant out of that spot. got to shake the guys up. It's time to put up or shut up in that DB room. Our current DB production is immediately what I think every time fans demand for our 5-star recruits. There you go. How we feel about Sydney? Dan Squad says he's high on Sydney, but I think he probably need more time in the oven. Travis J could cement himself as a legit NFL caliber DB. And Marcus Juice Wilder says the way they are talking about Burrell, he may earn a starting spot at wide receiver, to be honest. Physically, he is the part. Physically, Burrell's the part. But yeah, we talked about that wide receiver room, man. Burrell's coming. And the most electrifying guy ain't even on the campus yet. Did you mention Brownlee? I think he has a lot to gain and lose. Does he? Let's see. Dent is the guy who clearly sticks out to me, but I think you can make the case every single corner because there's only two corner spots on the field. I think everybody's pretty much sure that Jamie Williams has that nickelback locked up. Matter of fact, Mike Norvell said the two guys they've been using there is Kevin Knowles and Jamie. So they seem to be pretty set on who they want playing that nickelback spot. So there's only two corner spots. You can make a legit case that all of them have everything to gain and lose. Akeem Dent really stands out to me because this was a former 5-star all-world corner who we all thought was going to come be the next Jalen, Ronald Darby, PJ Williams, right? Akeem Dent was supposed to continue that lineage, and he hasn't lived up to that. So, yeah. But, I mean, you bring up Brownlee, and, I mean, you bring up a good point, but I could say Jerrion Jones is right there with Brownlee, you know, and I feel like the entire room, and because it's so deep, all of them, man, all of these guys could end up being lost in the sauce or really showing up and showing out and shining. Montre says Brandon Gant. 904 was going on. Polk. Everyone should want Milton to succeed. I agree. No, I think we do want Milton to succeed. I don't think no one's rooting against him. He mentioned that freshman from Texas doing good. What freshman from Texas? Hunter Washington isn't. I don't think Hunter Washington is an early enrollee. That's the freshman DB from Texas. Yeah, Hunter Washington, I don't think is an early enrollee yet. Or early enrollee, period. I don't think he's going to be here. The only DB early enrollee we had was Kevin Knowles, and he's from Hollywood, Florida, Raider. He's from Hollywood. I think that's who you might be confusing them with. Demore Tate has everything to gain. He has experience in front of him, but the talent, yeah, exactly. I agree with you on that. Tate has everything to gain. Tate's already at the bottom of the depth chart from the fact that he was academically ineligible year one, hasn't played for an entire year. Demore Tate has nothing to lose because he's already at the bottom of the depth chart. Probably the most physically, I mean, other than Travis J. Travis J and Demore Tate probably are two most physically gifted DBs on the team. Brownlee and Gant are in the same situation. Pokey and Keyshawn are as far as gain and lose. Fair enough. To me, it should be Moore and Jones, Jay and Gant, and Robinson. That's your starting 5. So you like Jerrion Jones at the other corner. Okay. Brownlee could really earn that full-time starting spot or fall on the depth chart with what we have coming in. Now I'll say this, and this is another reason why I say Akeem Dent, because Tyler brings up a good point. And this is also why I say you can look at that entire cornerback room and say, if you don't show up this year, there's this guy coming on the campus next year who might take a wide receiver spot and might take a corner spot. And another 5-star athlete who's going to come for one of those safety spots, if not a corner spot. Yeah. What they're bringing in next year could really push some guys out. Over or under. I I'm going to say under now. I don't foresee. I'm going to say under. I'm going to say under. But I think if one guy was to leave, yeah, I can see one, so I'm going to say under. Because I think, now I know this doesn't have anything to do with the over-under, but I think if one guy was to leave, you're still bringing in two other DBs in the fall. I think we'd be fine there, but it's interesting. I would say the question is who would be it? And the only guy that I would think would be Dent, but the people that I've talked to who know him personally say he's not transferring regardless of what anybody tells you. So I don't really see a guy leaving the program. So I'm gonna say under. I don't think we'll have any transfers this offseason. Not at DB. I can see wide receiver more so than I could see DB. I can see if Ontario Wilson or Keyshawn or Jordan Young, I think, is a prime candidate to hit the portal. I know he hasn't hit it yet, but I think that's a prime candidate. If I had to put money on one guy that I thought would hit the portal before the start of the season, it'd be Jordan Young. A 5-star is a no star if no coach, not Coach Probably Dent could be example of that. Were you on Shaheem? I think Shaheem has a lot of physical talents that I like, especially more so than Jordan Eubanks. But Shaheem probably needs at least 2 years before he's ready to play. The question is, do they want him at linebacker? Or I've heard mix that they recruited him as a backer. I think he's listed as a linebacker at 247. Matter of fact, let me check real quick. I already have it pulled up. Shaheem Brown is listed. Yeah, the recruiting services have him listed as an outside linebacker. So if we're talking outside linebacker for a guy who's 6'1", 180 pounds, probably needs a few years to, like you say, cook in the oven before we put him out there for regular contribution. If you're putting him out there at DB, my question is if they listed him as a backer, it's probably because he doesn't have the speed for DB. And what way do you want to use him at DB? So I like Shaheem Brown. I like the fact that he's 6'1", 185. I watched his tape. I think he's got some good physical tools to work with and has the mentality that I like. Is he a few years from playing, though, is the question. If Jones starts, his ass better be on a very short leash. Didn't like what I saw from him. I saw Jones get slap plum burnt on. I'm not very high on Jarian either. And Dan Squatch says he's go over the 1.5. Okay. Other than Asante, Brownlee had the best year at corner. Wanda Smith, how are you? How are you doing? I'm doing great. Does anyone know why that game was canceled? Because of that good old pandemic, baby. I think Duke had a player test positive. That's why that game got canceled. FSU versus Duke, COVID positive test. Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, that is why that game got canceled. But that's all, man. That's pretty much, we pretty much covered the entire roster of who has what to gain and who has to lose. I thought that was pretty solid. Barring any further questions, I really don't have anything else for you guys tonight. But the chat is open, so by all means, I'm not quite ready to get off yet. So hit me with your questions, and we'll keep this thing going. If not, we got about 10 more minutes. If nobody wants to ask any more questions, I got about 5 to 10 more minutes, and we'll close this thing down. Hit the like button, guys. If you're new here and just tuning in, subscribe to the channel. And by the way, share it, man. Share these videos. Share the videos, and let's get some people out here. Again, we're close, man. We're close. We're almost to 950. Let's get to 950, and then we'll work on the 1,000. Kind of sucks. We won't see Scotty Barnes next year. We'll see him in the NBA. What's going on, Jerg, man? Appreciate the support. You guys continue to be on the lookout for Jerg too, man. Me and him are going to be doing our own thing. It's going to be separate from my channel. More of a FSU Miami sort of collab channel where we're just going to really dig into, I do it a little bit here. And you guys, if you watch that FSU versus Miami all-time teams, you guys kind of got a feel for Jurgen's. You guys kind of got a feel for the way he looks at the game. I'm telling you, man, we're gonna do our own thing, and it's not gonna be boring though. I know people hear the words like in depth and think, oh my God, they're gonna be talking analytics. We don't do analytics. Matter of fact, we both hate analytics when it comes to sports. We believe in eye test and evaluating that stuff. With that said, man, I think if you guys enjoy what I do here, you guys will really like the stuff me and Jurg are gonna be doing in the future, man. I really do. I feel like this team is on its way up. Did you speak on Lucas? I came in late. My opinion, he has everything to lose. I don't think I did speak on him a little bit, Ardavius. I don't think Lucas has anything to lose. The way I look at it is this. If you think Lucas has everything to lose, you got to tell me who's going to take his spot. And so for me, I don't see a guy who's going to take his spot. That's why I don't think Lucas has anything to lose. I hate to say mental because mental makes it sound like I'm saying he's dumb, and I'm not saying he's dumb. I like to more so say his attitude has been his problem. But from a fear, and maybe Dan Squatch, I know he loves those fat boys up front too. And Dan Squatch could either agree or disagree. I'd be like, I would love to hear his opinion. But from a pure physical potential, what is Lucas? 6'4", 330, I mean, he's probably the most physically gifted offensive lineman on the entire team. I don't know who you're going to put in and not get a severe drop off at that other guard spot. Thank you, Giuseppe. The FSU Miami stream was great. Thank you, Tyler. Tyler, my guy. You're best at talking Knowles. Not many people do anymore, but we will be back. You're the best at talking Knowles. Not many people do anymore. Oh, I'm going to keep talking. Hope the kicking competition. We didn't talk much about kickers, but figure it out. I'm not going to sit here and go in depth on kickers and punters. Figure it out. Duke ain't going to the tournament, so they'll use any excuse. A Miami crack pigeon. All right. I'm curious where they blur the linebacker safety position. That's been my problem, is where they blur that line. From what I'm hearing, though, again, it's why I'm more intrigued to see Amari Gaynor standing up. I don't think there's much of a blur this year as it was last year. From what I'm tracking, 5 straight DBs. Jamie Robinson's a DB. Jamie Robinson has got that nickel on lock, 2 outside, 2 safeties. From what I'm tracking, I don't think I don't think you're looking at a hybrid anymore, which I kind of prefer personally. You think the Knowles get better than a 5 seed? Also, do you think they go beyond? I think they go beyond the second round for sure. If they win the ACC tournament, I think they probably get better than a 5 seed. No, if not. And I think we'll go past second round, man. I got all the faith. For me, the most to gain and lose on the coaching staff. Oh, well, no shit. No shit. He has nothing. gain as far as Fuller has everything to lose if he don't step it up. Get him off of this crap. Lucas and Smith have the tools. It's just all between the ears. There you go. Sapp and Charlton got me excited for guards. Certified shooter. Thomas Schrader could take Lucas' spot if he isn't on point. Thomas, Schrader's a good pick, John White. You make a good point right there. Schrader has potential. I think they're pushing Schrader more for center, but you make a good point. Schrader could be there. Tell him again, man. Share the stream. Are you gonna bring people in the chat on your show? Like we can go. Oh yeah, I used to do that a lot. I haven't done it recently, but I can definitely start doing that more. Kane Zay, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. As a matter of, we're going on 2 hours. I mean, there's been time I've done 3-4 hour shows. You guys tell me. I mean, we got 31 people in here. You guys want me to go another 30 minutes or y'all sick of hearing me talk? Because I see some people now showing up. Chad Kinsler, what's going on? Green Bay, always showing up late. What's going on, man? You guys let me know. You want me to stay on here? I can go another 30. Matter of fact, we'll go another 30. Let's go another 30. And if you want to join the stream, we'll bring you in here if you feel like talking some Florida State. I just got a job, bro. I feel you, man. Hey, go make the paper. Don't worry about me. Don't let me interfere with your money, bro. I'm just saying, you always showing up late. But congratulations, man. Congratulations. I'm getting ready for work, so I vote another 30. There we go. We're going to go another 30. Put your best man. Give me 1 second. I see you in the back. I'm going to bring you in here, and let me read this comment. Certified shooters in the back. Put your best man cover guy on the corner spot. Tate and Brownlee, Jay play center field. Robinson in the slot. And then the big question is, who's got the versatility to cover and play up in the box? Is it Gant or Ronaldo Green? I think that's your question. But let me bring certified shooters in here and see what he wants to talk about.
What it do, man?
Can you hear me? Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, man. How's it going?
How's it going with you, man? I'm doing good. It's rainy night here, but I'm chilling.
Yeah, I'm all the way in Alaska, man.
Ooh, we the total opposites. I'm in Hawaii, you in Alaska.
Yeah, so man, peep this out. So I'm stationed over here. That's why you see me got on this army stuff, but I don't know if you can see it, but that's full of snow.
Yeah, you can have that, bro. That's why I'm over here in Hawaii. You can have that.
Yo, I'm telling you.
You can have that.
Man, but let's talk about them nose, man. I love what I was hearing from Mike Norvell about the nickel position. I'm really excited. What you think about it?
The nickel position. So
Yep.
he mentioned Jamie over there, and he mentioned Kevin Knowles at the nickel spot.
I think Jamie gonna get it.
What I like the most personally is the fact that they're just going to a true nickel, and we're getting away from this linebacker / safety / basically saying you don't know what you want to do with that position, because that's what they had last year. Right. They had that nickel spot be a position where they didn't know if they wanted to play Gainer there or they wanted to play a true cover guy. I like the fact that you're saying, give me a true defensive back and we'll go from there. So,
right.
I like it.
I like it too. I think this is a make and break year for Fuller. I know you're not a big fan of him, but but we'll see. It's no excuse this year. This year is no excuse.
There you go. And that's my thing. Last year, I think I spent every show arguing with people telling me that the kids were no good and that Fuller was good. Okay, fine. If you're on that bandwagon and you think Fuller is the goods, then he has no excuse this year because he's got his guys. He's
Yeah,
got his guys.
the condition is better now. The condition is better. So
He's got his guys, and he's got his guys with the full off season potentially. Because I honestly I don't think fingers crossed. I don't expect there to be any like COVID issues as far as this off season goes.
yeah.
I mean, they played a whole season. I don't know why you would cancel a spring, but what else you got, bro?
Yeah.
Give me a minute, Kane. I'll bring you in here in a minute, bro.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I love, like, I just want to, like, if we could get to at least 8-4, man, I'm happy. If we can get to that 8-4.
Listen, man, I'll take give me 7 games with a chance to win 8 in a bowl game. So give me 7-5 with a chance to win 8, and I think that's even good. You give me 8 wins with a chance to win 9,
right?
Tyler said it, or somebody said it. Norvell has a chance to, with a good year, to have the most to gain as far as coaching goes. If Norvell's able to pull out 8 wins, the recruiting class is already up to.
Look, let me ask you this: what if we go 8-4, but the defense still ain't improving? Do we get rid of Fuller?
There's no way. There's no way we can win 8 games and the defense hasn't improved.
I mean,
I just don't see it. You're talking about then we're scoring 40, 50 a game?
Just depends on who we play. If
here's the issue with what you're saying. If you're gonna win 8 games, then you're telling me you gotta look at the schedule. You're gonna have to beat these teams. If you're gonna win 8 games, you're gonna have to beat Notre Dame, North Carolina, Florida, Miami, Clemson. That's already 5 games. If you're gonna win 8, you gotta win. You gotta win 2 or 3 of those games if you're legitimately gonna win 8 games. And that's assuming you can go into Boston College in November and pull that game out. NC State is always tough.
Yeah, they do play tough, but I think with the talent that we have, and I feel like, we definitely progress. We progress though. I feel like we can progress. I predicted last year that we're not going to be a good team, but this year I'm predicting that we can at least get 8. I think so.
We definitely got the talent. Not going to debate you there. There's just no way I see you win 8 games with a bad defense. Now, if you tell me the entire team improves and we playing good defense and good offense, yeah, 8 games is a possibility. But if that defense doesn't improve, you're not winning 8 games.
What if it's okay, just okay, but still?
Okay. I just need to see okay. If I can see okay first, then I can be somewhat happy.
So you trying to say he doesn't put himself? He doesn't put the players in position to make plays.
My problem when I watch Fuller, he doesn't coach situational football. He doesn't. Okay, we're lined up against Tutu Atwell. I'm gonna speak the Louisville game just off the top of my head. Okay. We're lined up against Tutu Atwell. It's a 3rd and 2. Situational football says, okay, for 3rd and 2, it's a short yardage situation. Why is Tutu Atwell being covered by a safety to begin with? But okay, that's neither here nor there.
Right.
And why is the safety lined up 10 yards off of him? That's my issue. Why does Amari Gaynor, arguably your best player, not have a position solidified on the entire defense? You just plug and play him here or there.
Yeah, true. Well,
until I can see him play situational football intelligently, play guys in the right positions intelligently, I don't there's not too much positives for me to say on Fuller, bro. I want to believe me. I don't want to not like Fuller. I don't have a horse in the fight. I want Florida State to be amazing. If it was up to me, we'd have the best coaches in the world.
You don't see him being a great recruiter?
I think he has been solid at recruiting. I will give you that. When I think when you listen to these kids' interviews, they always, especially the defensive kids, they always mention Fuller. They always say Coach Fuller's my guy. I'll give you that. Coach Fuller has been a very solid recruiter.
Maybe that's why he's there.
Well, then, damn it, give me a better defensive coordinator and make him a primary recruiter or something like that. But as far as him calling a defense, no. FSU needs somebody who can actually call a defense, bro.
Maybe, well, that'd be a terrible hire, Jeremy Pruitt. That'd be a terrible hire.
At this point, we need to stop worrying. Yeah, at this point, no, we don't want anything with Pruitt at this point.
Yeah, man. But I ain't gonna hold you too long. I just wanted to come on here and talk some stuff with you, man. For real, you know, I'm still rooting for my Jaguars. I know you don't like them. I know you.
Good luck with that. I don't. It ain't that I don't dislike them. It's just they're the Jaguars.
Right. But I beg to differ. I would listen. What? All right. So this is my last thing, and I'm gonna get out of here. So look. So are you willing to make a bet with me? We could bet. Hey, Mountain Dew, beer, whatever you want to do. We can bet on the Jaguars. So
okay,
look,
what do we bet?
So they win more. They will win more. They would compete for the division. They'll compete. They will compete.
What is compete? 4 or 5? Give me a game total. What is compete?
I say 9-7. He laughing, but I say 9-7.
A part of me wants to take this bet, but then I look at the division. Texans are probably going to lose Deshaun Watson. I don't know who the Colts. Who's the Colts quarterback?
Wentz. Give him to him, Wentz.
Yeah, Carson Wentz. So they got Houston, Indy. Tennessee's probably the best overall team. I'm gonna get back with you. I might take that bet.
Yeah,
Jags 9-7. 9-7.
9-7.
Yeah. I'm gonna get back with you. What do you want to bet? What do you want to bet? What do you want to bet?
Hey, look, we can bet whatever. I mean, shoot, you drink.
What do you drink? What do you drink?
Me, I'm a Hennessy guy.
All right. If the Jags win, if the Jag wins 9, I'll send. If you're still in Alaska or wherever you at, I'll send you a bottle of Henny.
Hey, look, listen. Because I'm from Jacksonville, Florida, so yeah. So set it up. Hold on.
All right, I think I'm back. Froze there for a second, but that was certified shooters, man. I think I just won a bottle of Henny. Pretty sure I just won a bottle of Henny. If you're still watching this, pretty sure I just won a bottle of Henny. Thanks for being patient, Kane Zay, man. Let me bring you in here, bro. What's going on, man?
You can hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, what's going on, man? What's up, Pope?
What's going on, bro? I just want a bottle of Henny in case you wasn't listening.
No, man, big fan of your show, dog. Even coming from a Hurricane fan, you feel me? Like you definitely do your thing.
You always in here showing love, bro. I appreciate you.
Oh yeah, most
That,
definitely. Cause I was brought up. You feel me? My brother, he loved Florida State. So me and him, we've been battling for years. But he always been hard on his team, just like you are. Like both of y'all are like the same, bro. Like it ain't no, you know what I'm saying? No, you know how you got those fans that'll be like, oh, I don't care what you say, my team is this and that. But nah, you guys are hard on your teams. Like y'all don't
so
play.
your brother a smart man.
Yeah, for sure. I
You,
mean,
I like you, but you wearing that mask, you know.
yeah, you know, let me throw that up real quick. You know what I'm saying? I gotta let it be known.
Yeah, work.
Yeah, man, I got to like 11, dog. You know, top flight security of the world.
What time? What time is it now? It's like 10.
it's yeah, it's 10:10 over here. You in
Okay.
Hawaii, ain't it?
Yeah, so it's 5 o'clock for me.
Ah, you still got daylight.
Oh yeah. I'm still, yep. So you got about an hour left. So you almost out of there.
Yeah, man. I need to get on a little drink too, man. After that trip I took from Orlando, I had to quit drinking for a minute, dog, because I was binge drinking, bro. You know how that goes, boy. On a vacation too, but I'm straight now. I can go back to drinking a little bit. So
That boy done recovered.
yeah, man. I'm glad you brought me on. Well, I ain't gonna lie, cause you, T2Y, and all y'all like you guys are inspirations with this kind of stuff. Cause I like to talk football too. But now you guys got me thinking I should start my own page, bro. Like for real.
On some real talk, you can ask like everybody in the comment section are pretty much met on YouTube, so to speak, right? Or know of them on YouTube. But Terrence Addison, Jurgen Henry, those two guys that I had on here in the Canes versus Florida State live stream. I mean, I
Oh, yeah, I
I,
watched that.
I told them like I was gonna just start a YouTube thing, and when I started the YouTube thing, I just did it just, bro. I didn't know if 5 people would listen to me. I just wanted to
Mm,
get on and started talking. Like if you
yeah.
go watch my early stuff, and you'll be like, what the. And I'm just talking. I'm just talking, and it morphed and it just turned into a thing of its own. And like I don't got as much subscribers as a T2I or nothing, but I'm happy with the little 900 and some I got, and I feel like I'm growing, and
Well, nah, you definitely can.
and it's all because of just people enjoy what I talk about. I guess like
Hmm.
at the end of the day, it's not even me. I guess it's just you guys. You guys like to listen to me talk football, so that's what I do, and I appreciate that.
Folks,
So
real recognize real. Not to cut
so
y'all, but real recognize real. And a lot of people in the chat, I could tell that they real. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my boy
yeah,
Rose, FSU Rose. That's my boy. That XX Made and Day. You feel me? Everybody
yeah,
just real. You know what I'm saying? We come on here, we talk our stuff. You know what I'm saying? We might not like the favorite same team, but you know what I'm saying? We have like the same views and stuff. You feel me? As far as how football is supposed to go.
absolutely. You're right, man. Real recognize real, and as far as you concerned, do it, bro. If you want to do it, and just, in my opinion, if you ask them like just for a little bit of advice with it, the only thing I would say is just know what you want to be. Do you want to be? Do you want to like? Do you want to talk sports? Like, because this is YouTube, and at the end of the day, you're trying to entertain people. So it's
Right.
like you got two different type of college YouTubers. You got people like me. I just come on here and I talk sports. I don't really do too much of the goofy stuff. I mean, we have fun and we joke in the chat, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't make the video like T2Y. I'll use T2Y as an example. T2Y make videos about other people's teams and stuff. Do you want to be that? You know what I'm saying? Or do you want to I guess just pick and choose what you want to do. You can be both. If you're good at both, be both. By all means, whatever your talent level dictates, that's what you do. I would just say understand your limits though. Don't try to go into it like that. That's the reason why I don't do the funny stuff, because I don't think I'm good at it. You feel me? So
Right. Right.
I just don't approach it.
No, I ain't gonna lie. I started following your page after after the Hurricane and Florida State game because I was feeling so good. I kind of wanted, you know what I'm saying, troll a little bit. But when I got to your page and I just started listening, I don't know. I just stayed consistent with everything you were talking about. You feel me? Because you like one of the only Florida State fans like somebody could talk to. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot of FSU fans down here in Broward, bro. Oh my God, you can't talk to them, bro, at all. At least I could talk to you. You feel me?
I don't know. I think the Florida State fans that I meet in person are usually all pretty good. The internet fans are the ones that sometimes I don't even think they really fans. They just like the troll, but you know, it's good vibes over here, man. So
Yeah, all day. That's why I'm on here. I wouldn't be on here if it wasn't no good vibes. You feel me?
I tell you to do it. If you want to talk that football talk, man, do it.
I'm definitely. I'm reading the comment. I'm hearing stuff about my team now. That what's going on?
Well, you
man?
know how I go. You know how I go. You gonna get it. You gonna get it.
It's all good. It's all good.
But it's all love at the end of the day.
It's one thing we can agree on though is I hate the Gators. I hate them. Like I don't want nothing to do with green and what they color it, orange and blue. I don't want nothing to do with that. I respect Florida State way more than them because y'all keep us on the schedule.
I don't even entertain them. I don't even entertain them. Them sidewalk. Yeah, bro, Dan Squatch, absolutely. Them fans that came after that national championship, I want nothing to do with them. I want nothing to do with those guys. They not real at all.
I be thinking it'd be some like fake Hurricane fans too, because I feel like if you're not hard on your team, like if you just don't see the bad, like you gotta talk about the bad. Like it's good things in your team, but if you don't talk about the bad, I feel like you're being fake. Like you have to, you know what I'm saying, dissect it in every way. Hurricane.
I think it's a healthy mix. Like when it comes, like, okay, let's use Florida State for example. We went 3-6. There's not really nothing really to talk about as far as good wise. Like, let's just be real. So when I would come on here and people would tell me I'm being negative, and I'm like, bro, we 3-6. What is there to talk about?
Right.
What is there to talk about? I'm gonna tell you what it is. But at the same time, you got people that even when something good does go right, for instance, we signed a 5-star in Sam McCall, you still got those fans that have something bad to say about that. And so I think there's a healthy mix of good fans and bad fans, and I can be positive while at the same time being real. And that's just the way I look at it. But you got some people who play a lot of it is just people playing sides. I want to be when it comes to Florida State, I already know what it is. You got a lot of Willie Taggart fans who are not really Florida State fans. They're Willie Taggart fans.
I'm a fan of the Hurricane. I don't care what coach we got. I'm gonna still stick as a Hurricane fan. That's crazy.
But I'm telling you, especially since Taggart got fired, it's been this thing where there are Taggart. I've never met a coach that has as many fans as Willie Taggart. Now I don't know if that's because he was the first black coach in Florida State history. I don't know what it was, but this dude has a fan base like for real. That to the point where Mike Norvell can't do nothing right in their eyes. Like we got right now, we got MJ Morris. He our number one quarterback on the board right now, who we trying to get to commit. He a black quarterback. But 2 months ago, they would tell you that Mike Norvell didn't recruit black. I actually had a guy on one of my shows. He came into the comment sections and said, Mike Norvell doesn't recruit black quarterbacks. What do I think about that? And I said, how you gonna say that when we don't know that yet? Now, give me a few years, and if he don't recruit some, then I'll have that conversation. I ain't scared to have the conversation. Don't get me wrong, but you just jump into conclusions. Well, the number one quarterback on our board is a black quarterback, and so when that happens, now they get quiet and they ain't got nothing to say, and now they move the goalpost to something else. So it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And this is the stuff that you're gonna have to deal with if you start a YouTube channel. You're gonna have people that have some good sense, like Tyler in Green Bay. And most of the people in my chat had good sense, man. But believe me, Tyler's my guy. Tyler's my guy. When I get to Florida, man, me and Tyler got to link up. I'm gonna be in Florida in June.
Yeah. You, Rose, and Tyler, y'all my top 3 FSU fans on here. Y'all got y'all. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what's up.
So you're gonna get the guys that you like. Okay, these are some cool people, and then you just get people that are ridiculous. I usually block those people.
Right. I mean, yeah, y'all say y'all with some inspirations for real, like, cause I like talking sport. I've been talking sports since I came out the womb. Like, my mom told me before she passed, she told me I used to talk sports with the barbershop people when I was 3-4 years old. So I'm ready.
I've been in a sports talk group. Since 2009? Like the stuff that I do on YouTube now. I mean, again, Jurgen Henry, Terrence, these guys will tell you we've been doing that on a Facebook group, in Facebook chats for the last 11 years. Like we've been doing this stuff for the last 11 years. It's just now one day I just woke up and said, I'm gonna put it on camera and see if other people agree with my opinions. That's the only difference. But we've been doing this for 11 years. Like if we get paid for it, and we don't, but when you got a passion for the game, and we got a passion for stuff, you just do it. You just do it. So I completely relate to you. I completely relate to you. See, look, during 2009 and 2010, Discussion Sports. That's where it all started, right there, over a decade ago.
I was still in high school when y'all boys started, man.
Yeah, I graduated in 07.
Okay, I graduated in 10, so yeah.
Yep. Like you said, we've been doing this dunk for a long time. The only difference is y'all see my face now when I'm bringing it to a broader audience, but same stuff, man. Gotta have fun with it. That's why I do it, just because I love it. I get nothing for this, man. I just love doing it.
That's real, bro. That's real. Make sure you drop that PSN when that NCAA come out in about 2 years.
Bro, I done dropped my PSN a million times. If Maiden Day, he added me already, man. Come on. You don't want the smoke anyway.
Well, you got 2 years to prepare. It's 2023 when they come out, so July.
Kane, you don't. All right. Kane say don't want it.
You already know who I'm picking. I got to pick my Hurricane. You feel me? But
see, that's the thing. That's the thing with me. I won't even pick Florida State because it won't be fair. And I don't even know what kind of team. I don't even know what kind of team we gonna have in 2023. But it ain't gonna be fair. I'll pick UCF and dog walking.
Oh man, that's an insult, man. UCF.
Better yet, I'll pick FIU and dog walk the Hurricanes. What's up?
Oh man, if you pick FIU, I ain't playing with the Hurricane then. No, man, we lost to them in real life. I still can't believe that. We never supposed to lose to FIU. That's like y'all losing to FAMU almost.
Yeah, that would be embarrassing if Florida State ever lost to FAMU.
Yeah, like we wouldn't. I don't know what we was on that night, man. But man, some of our losses just be head scratchers, man. Like FIU and North Carolina, like it be head scratchers, though. I just be like, yeah. But I run with them, dude. That's what I run with. I like them more than the Dolphins.
The Hurricanes?
Yeah, I like the Hurricane more than the Dolphins. I like the Heat more than the Dolphins. I've never seen the Dolphins win anything, not even a playoff game.
When's the last time the Dolphins made a playoff? No, seriously. When's the last time the Dolphins made a playoff?
That's how long it's been. I think they played Pittsburgh, I think in 2016, and that
Really?
was it. But the last time we won one was like 1998, and I remember because it was blacked out. We played the Colts, and I couldn't watch it. That was the last time we won a playoff game. It's been rough for Dolphin fans, bro.
Jurgen say Jaron Williams played FIU buzzed. He probably did.
Yes, yeah. Someone's up with that dude, man. Like they were saying, like he wasn't focused. They said he had went out the night before instead of being in his playbook.
That's crazy.
Yeah, lost to the Steelers 15-16. Yeah, I remember that. We got whooped too.
Where you pull security at?
I'm over here in Weston.
Okay.
Western Florida. That's like a real rich part of like in Broward County. Michael Vick stay over here.
Oh, you do?
But
Okay.
I let you know what I'm saying, what it's like over here.
That's what's up. Yeah, bro. I think if you really want to consider doing the channel, you should just do it. Don't let anybody tell you shouldn't do it. Just hop out there, and what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, because I turned 30 this year, but I still consider myself old school. Because even this kind of stuff is new to me. I was fumbling with this thing. I didn't know how to get it right. I kept exiting out and stuff.
I saw you kept leaving and going and leaving and going. I was like, what he got going on over there?
I'm trying to figure it out. I got it now though. So you feel me? This is cool, man. To get on with you like this. You know what I'm saying? You get to hear the real hurricane perspective. You feel me? Because I'm gonna tell you rough, rugged, and raw. I ain't with that. You know what I'm saying? That all that stuff we celebrating is in the past. Some of that stuff I wasn't even born. But we need to get back to that. Like
that's the argument. That's the argument.
Yeah. Until we get back to that, all we doing is talking about old stuff.
See, that's what I like to hear. It's good to be proud of what you accomplished, but like you a Dolphin fan too, right? So that's like you bragging about y'all undefeated season. Boy, you weren't even thought of when the undefeated season happened. How you gonna brag about it?
You feel me? Like that's what Janet Jackson say. What have you done for me lately? That's what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
Exactly, dog. Like now, like when I grew up, like when I was younger, when I seen the 01 Hurricanes, which is the best team I ever saw, that is what I'm used to. That kind of dominance, and we ain't been that since. So I think I got a theory though. Nobody ever probably told you this, but this is my theory on why the Hurricanes is where they at now. The Hurricanes are where they at now because after that Ohio State game, when the refs took the championship from us, we never recovered from that.
Yeah, but why? Why did you never recover from it? I think most people agree, but the question is why y'all ain't never recover? You should have recovered from it.
Because Coker stopped recruiting. The team he won with, that was Butch's team.
That I agree with. I don't think Coker was ever Coker couldn't continue what Butch had already built, and so he just won with what Butch Davis did, and he wasn't able to continue it. So I agree with that, but they should have been able to. They should have been able to sell. I don't know. They should have been able to sell it, so it would have lasted longer. We didn't recover because Jurg says y'all ain't recovered because y'all didn't innovate. But yeah, man.
And then like all the bad coaches we done had, like Randy Shannon, that could be like that's almost like our tagger. Like for real, like a lot of people they like this Shannon, but he couldn't coach, and he had
at least Shannon showed that he could. Like with Taggart, it was he can't do nothing, he can't do this, he can't do that. But one thing he can do is recruit, and that wasn't true. Taggart couldn't sign a quarterback. Taggart couldn't sign his first full recruiting class. He didn't sign one offensive skill player. Didn't sign one running back, one wide receiver, or one quarterback. But he's an offensive coach. How does that happen? Mike Norvell has shown in his short time that he recruits better than Willie Taggart, who was a Florida guy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least Randy Shannon showed, because I remember that Randy Shannon. I think Randy Shannon's first class was like number 3 in the that Ja'Cory Harris class with Ja'Cory Harris and Bird and Benjamin and Fortson on. I remember all of those. I've been watching college football for that long. I remember all of those kids' names, all those Booker T. Washington kids, all those were Booker T. Washington kids. Now he didn't win with them. I got it, but I mean, he recruited them though. At least he recruited them.
I mean, yeah. I ain't gonna lie. He did recruit, but at the same time, like this. He all those kids, the majority of those kids came from Miami Northwestern, and I feel like he could have probably went somewhere else to get other people. Like, it's not just, we have a bunch of talent in Florida, that's without doubt, but just to recruit from one school and get like 10, 12 from one school, nah. And a lot of them wasn't good. Like Aldarius Johnson was a bust, Fortson was a bust. The only one that did anything was Spence and Ja'Cory Harris.
Fortune didn't live up to it. I thought Fortune was going to be like y'all next great D tackle.
Yeah, he was supposed to be, but that's all hype. But Spence, he was that dude though. Sean Spence, that's my guy. And Travis Benjamin, all them boys, man.
Yeah. I remember Benjamin and Bird and all of them guys. That's what I'm saying. He recruited some good guys. But I feel you though. I feel you. Who cares what you recruiting if you couldn't coach it up? Jurgen says Randy didn't get the best out of those guys though. Can't blame all those kids. No way that I agree. No way that all of them was bad. Just again, very similar to Taggart. You're right. He was y'all's Taggart. He just
Power off.
Couldn't get Taggart was the same way, man. We had guys he couldn't get nothing out of these kids. But I'm probably about to head out here, Kane. Say, what else you got for me before I head out?
Nah, I ain't got nothing else for you if you finna slide out, big dog. You feel me? I'm finna get up out of here too. I gotta clean up the little area and stuff. Get ready to go home.
You got like 30 minutes left, so.
Yeah, man.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna do this again, though. I know how to work this thing now, so you know. So you feel me?
Man. You want to come on? Let me know. We just chop it up like I used to do this more, where I would post a link in the chat, and so it's definitely something I start doing again.
Yeah, it was one episode you had the people that you was calling in. I was looking at that episode, but I had to clear it. I had to go real quick. But this one right here with the coming in, yeah, I could next time you come, you know what I'm saying, on the YouTube, you feel me? I'll come. So I'll come check.
I tried to call. See, the call-in thing I want to try because everybody was like, "Hey, do a call-in," and then I do a call-in and nobody calls in, and it's like, nobody calls in. Y'all tell me to do a call-in show, and then nobody call in. So I haven't quite done it again because I did a call-in show and maybe 3 people called in that day or something like that. So, but maybe they'll do more of these where they click the link and hop in here. Like certified shooters. Hey, certified, make sure you have my Hennessy bottle ready too.
That hen dog. Hey. Love that hen dog, boy.
Yes, sir. But I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, bro.
All right, man.
I'm gonna let you go ahead and get ready to get off. So clean up, do what you gotta do, bro.
Hey, man, stay prayed up, stay blessed, cause you never know, man, what today gonna bring.
Sir. Yes, sir. Stay safe, bro. I'm gonna holler at you.
Yeah.
All right, man. That was Kane Zay. We had certified shooters coming here and make the most ridiculous bet where he's gonna bet me a Hennessy bottle that the Jaguars are gonna finish 9-7. I love free liquor, so shout out to me for getting that free liquor. Shout out to everybody in the chat who came in, showed love. Shout out to Kane Zay, Rose, Tyler Hedden, Jurgen, Terrence, Dan Squatch, John White, everybody in the chat. If you haven't, man, hit the like button on your way out. If you didn't hit the like button on your way in, And this is your boy Polk over here on 863 Signal TV. Stay classy. Go Nose. And we at ya. Have a good night, guys.